Today we're meeting up with Arianna Davis, author of Would Frida Do, A Guide to Living Boldly, and she's going to tell us how Frida's life inspires us to embrace our brightest, boldest selves.
Vida was so ahead of her time. She was somebody who lived boldly despite all of the challenges that life threw her way. She had a horrible accident at 18. She had a very rocky marriage with another artist, Diego Rivera, and I wanted to write this book about why we are all still so enamored with her and her story, but also what are the lessons that we can learn from her.
Not only are you sharing her story and the history of her art and all these things, but they're really tangible takeaways from her life.
The number one lesson I learned from her is, as I mentioned, Viva la vida, which translates to live your life or long live life. And I think the fact that, it was the last message that Frida actually wrote on her final painting before she died, and she died at 47, not long after having her leg amputated. She still managed to have this beautiful outlook on life about living life to the fullest. I hope that this book really just inspires anyone who wants to live their own life and follow their own path in their own way, but do it boldly.
With that being said, I know that you're bringing us to two spots that evoke the spirit of Frida. So where are we right now?
So we are at Verde, which is in Midtown Manhattan, and I love coming here. The food and the drinks are delicious, but I also love that the whole vibe here just really transports me to Mexico, one of my favorite places.
Arianna, you are a first-time author. What was your experience writing this book?
My day job is as digital director for Oprah Magazine, so I'm normally in a more editing role these days, so it was really nice to be able to get back to my first love of writing. And my favorite part of my whole experience was definitely when I got to go to Mexico City. I went there to do research for the book, and it was such an amazing experience. I'm Puerto Rican, I'm not Mexican. So for me, it was really important to make sure that I did my due diligence, that I really did my research, and that I got it right.
Something that I think is particularly interesting about Frida and her life is that she has had such a huge influence on fashion in particular.
With every single outfit she wore, she was paying homage to where she was from and her roots, and she was supporting local artisans, and that's something I think that we're finally as a culture talking about now, is like responsible shopping and giving back to small businesses and also minority-owned businesses.
So where are we off to next?
So we are at La Sirena, and this store has been here for 22 years. The owner, Dina Lior, has been collecting Mexican folk art the last 2 decades, and she has so many beautiful pieces here. Wow. Look how stunning.
Gorgeous textile, and I see Frida in her full glory here.
Everything is actually made by artisans in Mexico, which I think that this is just such a gem in New York City.
I'm not very familiar with her art, so what do you know about Frida's art?
Yeah, he definitely was whimsical and definitely surrealist, which comes across in I think a lot of the souvenirs and tchotchkes and art that has come to be as a tribute to her over the years. But she's also known for being so raw and vulnerable in her art. She was very far ahead of her time. She depicted everything from her miscarriages to the pain of her breakups with her husband Diego. She was just such an incredible artist when it came to storytelling for women, and again, so far ahead of her time. This was like the 1920s and 30s.
Thank you so much, Arianna, for taking us on this tour. And tell me, where can we get your book?
Would Frida Do, A Guide to Living Boldly is available now. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If you want to support your independent bookstore in your area, you can go to bookshop.org, and I'm so excited to share it with the world.
Yay!